Stichverletzungen sowie eine noch nicht genau zu bezeichnende Kopfverletzung auf und vermutliche Würgemale am Hals. Auf dem Boden oder in der Nähe der Leiche konnten mehrere Werkzeuge aufgefunden werden.
Within the walls of the Remscheid Correctional Facility, a place typically considered impregnable and secure, a tragedy unfolds. This prison, rigorously monitored around the clock, suddenly becomes the scene of a heinous crime. Unnoticed by security measures, a man succeeds in carrying out his deadly intent. At around midnight, a time when the outside world is shrouded in darkness and inmates are usually confined to their cells, calamity strikes. Stab wounds, a mysterious head injury, and strangulation marks on the neck become evidence of a crime that seems unimaginable even within the darkest prison walls. However, against the backdrop of this brutal act, the question lingers. How could such a terrible event occur within the Remscheid Correctional Facility? Security measures in a prison are typically meticulous. Every visitor, every movement is monitored and controlled. Yet, on this fateful day, a security breach is exposed, one that will have severe consequences. In a place meant to protect society from its most dangerous elements, a man goes unnoticed as he becomes the perpetrator. In the year 2010, a grim narrative unfolds around Klaus-Dieter H, a 50-year-old man who has been serving his sentence at the Remscheid Correctional Facility for 19 years. His conviction is no minor offense. He had abused and murdered a 9-year-old child. Despite the stringent security measures at the Remscheid prison, he is seen as more than just an inmate. Klaus-Dieter H has managed to build a favorable reputation within the prison walls. He runs the library, participates in various groups, and even enjoys the privilege of long-term visits lasting several hours. For 4 years, the offender benefits from these advantages without anything extraordinary happening. However, his enviable status in the Remscheid Correctional Facility is abruptly shaken during a visit on the 11th of April 2010. On this day, Klaus-Dieter H arrives not only with his usual status as an inmate, but also carrying 2 knives and a lug wrench. Unnoticed, he smuggles these dangerous items into the visitor's room, a space typically intended for interpersonal encounters. What starts as a private meeting between the inmate and a female visitor culminates in an act of violence, raising questions about how it was possible to smuggle these weapons into the prison. The fateful encounter with Martina G, a 46-year-old woman and partner of Klaus-Dieter H, ends tragically. In a room usually used for the pleasures of long-term visits, Martina G is brutally attacked and loses her life. The act is accompanied by stab wounds, a mysterious head injury, and strangulation marks on the neck. Klaus-Dieter H, who kills his girlfriend, then attempts to take his own life, but survives. This sequence of events and the subsequent investigations not only unveil the dark chapter of the Remscheid Correctional Facility, but also raise questions about the security standards and control mechanisms in a high-security prison.
Give me 30 seconds, or feel free to fast forward before we continue with the love story between Martina and Klaus. I wanted to thank you for watching my video. I put a lot of time into research, and just the video editing itself takes about 7 hours. If you enjoy it, click on the bell and leave a like. If you have any suggestions or criticisms, feel free to write to me.
The horrific incident at the Remscheid Correctional Facility on April 11, 2010, not only ended the life of Martina G, but also triggered a cascade of consequences. The events not only called into question the security measures at the Remscheid Correctional Facility, but also the role and significance of long-term visits in prisons. Investigations revealed that Klaus-Dieter H had smuggled 2 knives, a lug wrench, and a file belt into the visitor's room, raising serious questions about the effectiveness of controls at the Remscheid Correctional Facility. How could a prisoner bring such dangerous items unnoticed into the prison? especially considering the strict security protocols expected in a high-security prison? The repercussions of this security lapse are far-reaching. The Minister of Justice finds herself compelled to justify before the Legal Committee. The discussion on prison security and the failure of controls becomes a pressing issue in North Rhine-Westphalia. The debate extends beyond the control mechanisms at the Remscheid correctional facility, raising concerns about whether similar security gaps exist in other prisons. Andreas Schüller, who took over the management of the Remscheid correctional facility in May 2022, faces the challenge of revising the security concept and restoring trust in prison administration. However, even with the best security measures and strictest controls, no correctional facility can guarantee 100% safety, as he emphasizes. The unresolved questions encompass not only security measures, but also the relationship between the perpetrator and the victim. The question arises whether the institution's leadership was aware of the emerging relationship crisis between Klaus-Dieter H and Martina G. Investigations suggest that a possible separation could have led to the terrible crime, but whether such warning signs were recognized remains unclear. The 2010 drama at the Remscheid Correctional Facility illustrates that even in carefully monitored environments, tragic events can occur. The key question remains: how can correctional facilities ensure the prevention of such violent crimes, and what lessons can be drawn from this fateful incident to improve prison safety? These questions will continue to play a central role in the discussion on penal reform and ensuring security in correctional facilities.